say thank you.
We're dying.
It's like, yeah, I'm on my way. I'm about to be there.
Yeah. How was the drive?
Dude, this is like you got a nice spot, man.
Yeah, thanks, man. Did it take you up the roundabout way, or did you go like a different?
Yeah,
way?
roundabout way.
So you went through like the 7 roundabouts.
Yeah, that's how I knew this was gonna be fancy. I was like, oh, there's roundabouts, you know. I also saw ice. I was like, oh, this is we're in the middle of nowhere.
Well, that's just an Oakland County thing. Yeah. Like Oakland County likes to act like they're better than everyone, but they can't fucking get rid of ice. The most simple fucking thing. Or maybe it's just that they like ice here in this fucking county, you know? But all kinds of ice.
You know, remember when you were a kid, you used to play, what was the thing where you would see like the station wagons with the wood on the side?
Yeah.
The beaver thing?
Yeah,
I was doing that with migrant caravans on the way here. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. This is our first episode in 2 weeks. We took a little 2-week hiatus. The first week was, I think the first week that we were off was Sam's recording. Sam just needed like.
I heard it went great.
Break. Yeah, it went great.
Yeah.
I was supposed to record something that week, and I had a host lined up, and then they had to drop on me at the last minute, I just didn't record that week.
It happens.
And then the week after, I was lazy, and I'll be honest, I just didn't fucking put this together. And it was Saturday, and I was like,
welcome to podcast.
yeah, it was Saturday, and I was like, you know what? I'm feeling pretty chill playing City Skylines right now, so I'm gonna just keep going.
Yeah. You can't first of all, I think if you're if you're not a famous person and you do podcasts, you can't be expected to put it one a week out.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. Like, unless we start making money off of this, there's just no way that I can, especially with the video aspect. Like, I can do audio all day.
Yeah,
that's
sure.
easy. Especially, when it's just a continuous... Well, audio... Yeah, but you do... Okay, Carl has a podcast called Maybe Some Other Time, where he interviews... Michigan-based comics, and sometimes comics that are just in town, in Michigan at the time.
So a little bit of Ohio, a little bit of Windsor.
Yeah. The surrounding area. Carl does actual editing and cutting on his podcast, though. I'm just like, all right, record, let's go.
I'm also single, so I don't have as much going on, and I'm not working right now. So.
I'm just like, I hit record, and I'm like, hey, you better not say the N-word because it's not getting cut out.
Yeah, it's weird that you actually have a sign that says that. Don't be racist.
Yeah, right there.
It's a little weird, yeah. It's like the employee washing hands sign. What a weird start.
But yeah, with my style of podcasting, audio only is very easy for me to edit. But once you add this video element,
that's part of the reason why I don't do video.
Yeah.
Also, I just don't want to have. I would say, because the female scene here is so strong, I would say 40% of the guests are women, and I don't want to have to give them more. You know what I mean? I know how some women are like, oh, are you doing video too? Ugh, you know? I don't want to have to, and I don't want to see myself on camera. So you said you would blur this out for me, right?
I'll just put I'll put an emoji over your face for you.
Yeah. You said there's no sponsors, but we actually do have a sponsor for aging products.
Oil of Olay. Is that even still a thing? I have no idea.
I don't think so.
That's how old I am. So here we are, another episode of Good Morning, We're Dying. If you haven't noticed yet, Sam is not here, but I got a very capable replacement for this episode, and that is Carl Johnson.
Yep. Sam is way better looking. So
I mentioned to someone that I had you coming in to fill in for Sam this weekend, and they were like, "Oh, you got male Sam."
Who said that? That's so funny. Also kind of offensive. The positive is I'm glad I'm probably maybe just as funny as she is, but also, am I that dark? I don't think am I that dark and sad?
I think it's maybe the aura. Maybe not so much the material.
Oh my God, that's so the aura. Yeah, when I walk into a room, people are like, yay! That's for sure. People are like, here's Carl, make sure you say hi or he'll be sad. I think I've talked about this on my podcast, but Brad Wintle once told me at a show, he said, you know when people walk into after someone dies, they say that they walk into a room, they lit it up. I go, yeah. He goes, yeah, you don't do that. And I was like, that was uncalled for.
Brad likes to throw those little darts at everybody.
He does.
Like you think Brad's like a nice guy, like he's just this nice.
Yeah,
like,
it's all.
But
covered.
he'll dart you. He'll dart
Oh,
you
he
out of
will.
nowhere too, and you won't be expecting it. One time I had like a mediocre set. I won't say I bombed. I don't think I bombed. I just had like a mediocre set, and I got off stage, and I walked by Brad, and Brad like grabs my arm, and he's like pulling me in because he wants to tell me something. He's like, hey, you should maybe look like you're having fun sometimes.
It's so funny. So funny. Well, we kind of forget that too. I mean, like it is supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
You do like I do find myself doing better when I smile on stage.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah.
If I like the first thing,
This guy enjoying this?
yeah, the first thing that I realize when I get off stage after having like not a great set,
Yeah.
is like, oh, I think I was pretty grumpy the whole time that I was
Yeah.
on that stage.
I mean, in our defense, I think we both look like we should be grumpy. So, but I'm not like a high energy guy. You're not a high energy guy, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not.
Could you? I don't want to be the high energy.
No,
guy.
I don't want to be the high energy guy.
Because then you have to fake like you're in a good
Exactly. And if you're not a high energy, like I can maybe do it for like a 10-minute set. But if I have to do anything more than 10 minutes, I'm like going to be exhausted by the end of that set.
Comics in your mid-20s is what you have to look forward to.
So like I'm not trying to be a high. There's a way to have energy inside of the low energy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's true.
And I'm trying to be more aware of that.
Yeah.
You can deliver things in a way that you feel it,
Right.
but still be low energy.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm trying to like be more aware of that.
Right. Also, you're like a really good writer, so you don't have to like good writers can
Yeah,
kind of get away with that.
Yeah, that good writing is exactly what the era of TikTok wants.
Oh man, that's
been working.
true.
That's been working great for me in the era of, hey, let's book this guy because he's got 200,000 followers on Instagram.
God, it's so sad. No other profession is like that.
Yeah, I mean, I open for someone who's like closer is like slipping on a banana peel and falling on a hot dog that goes up their ass.
Where was this at?
I'm just.
Oh, you just.
Yeah, I'm just.
I was like, who's this guy? Who's this TikToker?
That sounds interesting.
I wouldn't surprise me if I'm being
I'm gonna
honest.
send him my avails. But you know what I mean? Like that's like their act, and that's who I'm opening for. And they're just fucking dying when he gets on stage and does that gag. And then I'm up there for 20 minutes, like doing jokes that I've written and worked out and really thought about. And they're just like, haha.
Yep. It's man, it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
It's and I felt like it wasn't like that when we started.
No, it wasn't.
You were actually opening up for, I wouldn't say good people, but like people that did comedy at least.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I mean, I still open up for good people, but like you do still have
You haven't opened for me. That's weird.
Well, I said good people.
Okay.
I don't mean Carl's bad at comedy. I mean he's just a bad person.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on.
But no, I don't know. It's just weird. There's still places that you can go where it's going to be good, but unfortunately none of those places are like mainstream. You know what I mean? Like,
You mean like one-nighters, like kind of like
one-nighters,
independent rooms?
Independent rooms, one-nighters, some clubs still, but like those aren't the places that are going to get you on Netflix. You know what I mean? Like those aren't the places that are going to allow you to have a living doing this. You know what I mean?
I also think Netflix is kind of becoming Comedy Central in some ways.
Yeah.
Where like
100%.
if you just scroll through the comics on there, half of them are terrible.
Yeah, I mean they oversaturate it big time. Yeah. Comedy has gotten to a point where I just can't consume it anymore on any platform. Like when it comes up in Netflix or like even HBO, and HBO isn't even that bad. HBO actually still puts out good specials, I think.
They do, because they don't put them on a lot.
Exactly. It's like 1 or 2 a year.
Yeah.
But even if I see it on HBO, definitely if I see any sort of if I see a clip that even just mimics stand-up comedy on TikTok or Instagram, I'm like, next. I don't even want to hear one word out of it. I'm just like, next.
Is there anything? Are there TikTokers like this? Because you ever see like a comic they're trying too hard to be a comic on stage?
Oh yeah, 100%.
And you're like, this is why it's not going to work for you, because you're not being yourself. You're trying to be someone else. You know?
Yeah, 100%.
I think that's what TikTokers are doing for the most part, right?
Maybe. Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Because I mean, I opened for a guy. He was more of a YouTuber than a TikToker, but I'm sure he has a TikTok following now. It was just because he was a YouTuber at the time that I opened for him, because I don't think TikTok was really a thing yet. Mm-hmm. So, but I'm sure he made that leap. I haven't kept up with him. He was a nice kid. But like,
that's depressing. He was a nice person at 20 years younger than me.
He was a nice kid, and he had stand-up comedy timing, but he was 100% doing Bill Burr. You know what I mean? Like, it was just like 100.
You know what, dude?
No, it was like 100% that. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so like, you know, and I've seen him recently, and he's like even bigger now. And he's like headlining clubs and stuff, which I'm like, all right, whatever. You know, I'm not going to be like a hater, which is why I'm not going to say his name. I'm sure people can figure out who I'm talking about. Like, if you want to do enough sleuthing and dig far enough back into my social media, you can probably figure out who I'm talking about.
If you really care about this podcast that much.
but again, he was like a nice kid. He wasn't like a dickhead. You know what I mean? Like, he was a nice kid. He was, you know, whatever.
Respectful.
Exactly. And
respect your elders.
And I think it's because he understood what he was.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't think he thought
self-aware.
Exactly.
Self-aware. Yeah, that's nice.
I think he understood that he was a content creator, not a stand-up comedian, and that him going on stage that night was content, not stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's sad. It's kind of depressing.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, you do get the people that are self-aware. Like I opened up for a PowerPoint comic a few days ago, and but he's been around since the '80s. He's done comedy in San Francisco, and he was talking about how like, me and the alternative scene, we didn't get along. Like Janine Garofalo hated me, and I thought there's a reason, and. I mean, he did great. He had his own audience, which is all you can ask for. You have your own audience. But he was also like an engineer. And a part of me was like, what are you doing this for? You're doing all right, you know?
Yeah.
But and then he kind of made fun of me for my day job while he was on stage. Like that I do lawn care. He made fun of me for doing that. And I was like, I think he's kind of being a dick.
Yeah.
But
hey, Carl, fuck you for doing something that's actually good for the earth.
Well, I mean, that's argument. I don't know. It's good for me or the earth. But it was just like, you know, it was just one of those things where Bill asked me like last minute. I don't know if somebody canceled on him or anything like that. But and it went fine enough, but I just knew how it was going to go.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to, it was a 2-person show.
Yeah. I mean, half the time I think like when those guys shit on what you do, it's just because they don't really know how to be funny and they think that that's being funny. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think they're like really trying to like put you down. Like,
no, I wasn't offended. He was actually a pretty nice dude.
Yeah. I think it's just that they don't really know humor, so humor to them is to just be like, "Fuck this thing."
He was doing like jokes about pie charts. You know what I mean? So it was like,
the pie chart comment.
And then he did a thing. Then he did a thing. He did a. You know, you're an engineer when. It was like the Jeff Foxworthy thing, but engineers. Jesus Christ. And at that point, I felt much better. You know.
Yeah. I mean, but
he's got an audience and I don't, so good for him, you know.
I mean, I think I'm technically in my day job an engineer, and I would say, you know, you're an engineer when you fucking hate your life and want to do anything else.
Guys, thank you for listening to this podcast. We're done, right? That's it. We're wrapping it.
That's the end of the podcast, actually. There's no more episodes after that one.
Do you have any, I did write a few things down. I came prepared.
I did not. I'm just fine. Like, hey, we're just going to.
You didn't even know I was coming.
No. I started setting all of this up. I started setting all the lights and the camera and like the mics up. And it was about 20 minutes before we were going to start. And I'm like, I should probably text Carl to see if he's actually coming.
Oh my God. Have you ever said something on your pod? And I know probably having Sam as a co-host, I could see Sam's eyes going, yeah. Have you ever said something on the pod that where you're like, someone might message me about this the next day? You might get
not this one yet.
Yeah. Well,
not this one yet.
I mean, like in general, like any of.
In general, yeah, I've definitely said things on Bert Selleck that I'm like, ooh, I maybe should take that episode down before it gets out there. But then I'm kind of just like, I'm never going to be famous, so who fucking gives a shit?
Also, when the thing about doing a podcast is when you do it for a long time, you're talking for so long, you're gonna say dumb stuff.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah. There was once. Okay, so like when I was interviewing for my current day job.
Yeah.
I asked Brett Mercer, friend of the show, to take down all of my Big Time Garbage episodes. Because every time I've been on Big Time Garbage, we've just talked about the bathhouse and gay sex.
Oh my God.
So I'm just like, this should maybe not be out there for employers that might Google my name. So I don't know if he ever put them back up. I never like messaged him like, okay, you can put those episodes back up.
That is so funny that you have to do that.
That was the only thing that I was like really worried
I think what
about.
happens, I think they would Google, what they would do is they would Google your name.
Yeah.
And then it would come up Big Time Garbage. And because of that name, they'd be like, I don't think I'm going to have to listen to this. It's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I talked about, I'll get your take on this. On my last episode, I put something out about how I was talking to Rachel Lee, very funny comedian from Ohio.
Yeah. I think last time I did Crumbly Cup, Rachel maybe won it.
Okay, she's good. She's got some stuff. Man.
I'm not sure if I'm thinking of the same person, but I think that was her.
I think probably there's 4 comedians in Ohio. But we were talking about like how comedians dress on stage.
Yeah.
And I was talking about how like if you're a woman in comedy, don't have cleavage on stage. Nobody will take you seriously.
Yeah.
That was like, that's how I should have said it, but I think I said it in some other ways that maybe it sounded sexist.
Yeah.
But I was like, no, I'm just saying like women aren't funny is already a terrible stereotype.
Yeah.
Don't give it more by going up there with like just,
I would argue throw a little bit of cleavage out there just because like
a little is fine.
Yeah,
I'm not talking about a little, Alex. I'm seeing some comics with like it's hanging out there, and you're
it's
like
the
do you
Jennifer
want people to listen
it's
to
like the
jokes,
Jennifer
or?
Lopez like rainforest
Dude,
dress.
no. And it's not a lot, but there's a handful, and you're like, man, this is.
I've talked about this in private with other comics just because like I don't want to present like a chauvinist like you just did. But
I'm pro women. I'm just,
but no, no. I mean, I know what you're saying. I agree with that. I mean, I'll give this feedback to maybe like comics that I'm close to because they'll understand that I'm not being like, hey, don't be like a girl.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It's more so just like it's more so just like the type of audience you're going to attract from that is not the audience that you want.
Also,
you know what I mean?
And yes, and my argument also would be I don't know any comedians in this scene that go up on stage like that are actually funny.
Yeah, right. It isn't a distraction.
Yeah.
Especially there's a few that I've seen over the years and I'm like, you're actually funny. You don't need to do that.
1,000%.
You know what I mean? Like you actually can write a joke and deliver it and perform. Like 1,000%. You don't need to be doing all of that.
And maybe and it's probably not. And again, I'm making it sound like it's an epidemic. It's not.
It's not. It's not. It's just when you see it, it's just very jarring.
A little bit, yeah.
Because like I said, some of the people that do that, some of the female comics that do that are very talented, and it's like you're selling yourself short by doing that.
Yeah, it's also you just want you want the jokes to do the talking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You want
but like I said, you want a little bit of cleavage because that I mean, like let's be real, that's what's bringing people to.
Gay.
That's what's selling tickets, baby. Sex sells.
I do want women to feel comfortable on stage and
that's
dress the way they want.
That's the other thing.
But
that's the other thing, because like there are dickheads in the crowd that are going to interpret that a certain way, and they're going to harass you.
They're called dummies. Yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely.
They will like listen. It's not about whether they maybe they won't. They will harass you.
And those are the type of dudes that'll be like, "Well, you dress like this, so I should be able to say or touch you."
Snowflakes. I remember when comedians used to be funny.
But I thought I'd get a little I only had like a message, and then but I've talked about this with female comic friends, and a good chunk of them agree with me.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I'm not saying that it's for comedy. Don't do it for comedy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's just a weird.
Yeah, save that for the OnlyFans.
I mean, maybe
that's where you build the actual audience.
Do.
You don't build an audience by going on stage and telling funny jokes. Nobody gives a shit about that. You build an audience by showing your tits on the internet. Like that's where you build it.
Would you like, if you could, would you like to be a woman in comedy for one day? Just to see what that's like,
No.
Yeah.
No, not because of oh, women aren't funny. Just knowing what women go through. You have to fucking deal with. Yes. Like there's several women.
What they have to deal with outside of comedy. And now
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean,
like there's several female comics that started around the same time as me that have quit just because of the harassment that they have had to deal with off stage because of comedy.
Yep.
And it's like, I don't want that in my life, you know?
Yeah. I would love to be. No, I'm kidding. No, I would not. I have female comic friends. We hear from them quite often on how shitty it is. You know? But
yeah, and it sucks because like a lot of the female comics that quit were very funny.
Yeah, for real.
You know, and
I got a few in my head right now.
Yeah,
dude, going through just like
I mean, I have one in my head that hates me now, and I don't care. She was still good.
Right.
You know,
right. How does someone hate you?
I guess I put jokes up that were in their mind anti-trans or something.
Yeah.
And I'm just like...
I know, man. A lot of gay dudes anti-trans. That makes tons of sense.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, hey, get that T out of the acronym. Thank you, Senior Trump.
Yeah, that's what Trump just did, though.
Yeah,
it's like LGB now?
Yeah, I know. It's just LGB. That's it. On government websites, which is going to just make everyone else like really emphasize the rest of it. You know what I mean?
It's just like... I don't know how often you talk politics on this podcast. I'd imagine,
all the time.
I imagine it probably does come up every now and then.
It does come up because we're not. I mean, listen, we just spent about 20 minutes talking comedy, but like that's really not the point of this show.
That's so funny. We just did my podcast for 20 minutes.
You know, our show. Me and Sam. We're not like we got to be funny for an hour. Me and Sam are more like let's just fucking talk.
Either is
you know what I mean.
Either is my pod. Yeah. I think my pod gets the thing of it just talks about comedy. That we might talk about comedy for 5 minutes some episodes. And there's other episodes maybe more. It just depends. But yeah, it's just no one these people that think that Elon's gutting these government agencies because they're corrupted. It's like, no, dude, it's for the Trump tax cuts. You know this, right? He wants to pay. It's for billionaires. It's nothing to do with like corruption at all.
Yeah, no, it has zero to do with corruption. Well, it has to do.
The trans thing is a distraction.
It has to do with corruption, but it's not the corruption of the agency. It's the corruption of the people in charge right now.
Right.
That's the corruption that it's for. It's so that they can do more corruption. That's why they're gutting these agencies.
Did you see the?
And the thing, and also the thing is, some of the agencies that have been cut are not great. Like some of them are used to do corruption in other places, but they also do some good things because to get away with the corruption, you have to do some good shit.
I mean, it's government. There's going to be corruption, but it's wild to be like the main corruptor.
No,
and be like corruption. Okay, all right. It's yeah, dude. It's and did you see the photo op of Trump with all the little girls behind him signing the bill of like no trans women in sports now?
I think I briefly saw something.
The 8 trans women that are in sports. Like Jesus Christ.
I think I saw something. There's a photo that I posted a few years ago of Trump from like the 80s. And he's got probably about like 7 girls around him. They're like on a rooftop somewhere in New York. And the girls are like very clearly not adults.
Sure.
But they're dressed up in a way that like they're gonna fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the girls are not there from Sunday school. Let me just put it that way. You know, it's very funny. It's just very funny. People like I don't know, man. I don't understand I mean, I do understand it, but like the cognitive dissonance that people have with that man is wild to me. Like I remember being a child, like 7, 8 years old, seeing him on TV and just having this feeling like that's not a good dude.
1000%. And there's like a thing to be said of like, I think that's kind of not with him, but I do think that's kind of over. You ever watch like a serial killer documentary?
Oh yeah.
And they're like, he was something weird about him. Was there? Because he killed 7 people and no one said anything. So So, but with Trump, I get that.
Yeah.
But like, it's like when when you see like a serial killer documentary and they're talking to this, they're having like a discussion about the serial killer, and they're like, he had a foot fetish, and it's like, so do fucking I don't know how many dudes. That you're just giving dudes with foot fetishes a bad name.
How about all the squirrels in his freezer? How about that one?
It's like tiny weird dude. Like I've talked about this too. Like I have a hands thing, and I guarantee you, if I murdered a woman, that'd be the first thing that came up. He had a hands thing.
Yeah.
It would be like, it's just a weird.
You know what's wild?
It doesn't matter. Those details. There's plenty of people with foot fetishes that don't murder women.
You know what's wild is I was watching Louis D. Michael and Johnny Mockney's podcast.
I'm sorry to hear that.
What was it, Chinese
funny.
Rocket Force?
Yeah.
And they were talking to I forget his name, but the cop from Flint that after the George Floyd stuff went down, he did the opposite of what cops did during that era and went out into the community and actually spoke to people. And they were interviewing him, and he threw out a statistic that is wild. 90%. This is what he said. I didn't do any fucking research to verify this.
That's not what this podcast is.
No, this podcast is not about research. He said 90% of internet child porn is consumed by white dudes.
Wow. Can I tell you something? I don't think that's surprising.
It's not. I wasn't surprised.
How
when
many
he said that.
serial killers are there? It's mostly white dudes too as well, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, we just give everything about
there was
comedy.
I mean, there was one Latino guy, Richard Ramirez. But like,
there's
yeah.
There's one Latino. That's so. There's also just more white people, but that is a 90% is insane.
Wild. That is wild. I did nothing to verify that, but but like,
it's probably because there's some black dudes that are like, I really love porn, but I gotta stay away from it because that's some white dude shit.
Well, so the 10% that's not white dudes is black Republicans. So
I see what you did there.
Basically, white dudes.
That's funny. That's a wild statistic. Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah. But yeah, that was crazy. That was kind of like that was a big get, I would think.
Yeah. Good for them.
Yeah,
because
I think
did they have to explain the podcast name to him? Because that's so funny. Why is it called that? Because we said it once. So.
Well, I think he is I think he just like, honestly, I don't think he cared, which he shouldn't at this point.
Right.
Who fucking cares?
Right.
I think he just understands that is where you need to be at this point.
Yeah.
And, obviously he went a little viral in that moment, but he's not like a big politician.
Right.
So it's like, just get on this podcast, because they're making content.
If anybody
it's going to be
listens,
online.
You just got to go where anybody listens at this point.
Yeah.
You can't be too picky.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you ever watched those videos of there's like YouTubers that have it, like where they track down predators and then they put a camera in their face?
Yeah.
Oh, is there anything more horrific than that? No. Oh man,
it's cringy on all sides.
Yes,
there's no one in those videos looks good.
Not even the person that's doing the good stuff.
That's what I'm saying. Like not even the guy who's trying to catch the predator looks good.
Yeah,
like there's just no angle of those videos that is like redeemable.
As crazy as it sounds, because pedophiles are
a problem,
a big problem, one of the worst types of people,
in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, but it's one of those things where like even they look like the bully when they're putting the phone. No, in
exactly.
The face,
you almost feel sorry for the pedophile. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you almost like Chris Hansen kind of did it the right way. Where he
let
was just
him eat like a drink of milk. Yeah,
he was like nice to them. You know what I mean? Like he was nice to that. Like he wasn't a dick. He was like, "Hey, fucker, come here." Like he was like, "Hey, have a seat." like it was just like a conversation. That's
so funny.
But like these guys are like, "Hey, you fuck face, who are you here for?" It's bad. It makes me feel bad for like the pedophile.
If I learn anything from what you just said, you have to be nice to pedophiles.
Exactly.
But here's the thing: I do sympathize with them on a small scale of like. That's the way the brain. That's the way it sucks. That's the way the brain's wired.
Yeah.
Now, if you act on it, that's all on you. That's you.
Yeah.
But the way your brain's wired, you can't.
Yeah.
I have a hand thing. I don't want to have a hand thing. but I do. But a hand thing could be
Yeah.
so much worse.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah, no, I mean it's a tough thing to approach.
yeah, dude.
Just because like you said, I mean it is how you're wired.
Yes.
It is unfortunately the worst thing that you could be wired for.
Yes.
It's like even worse than like being wired as an NFL player and someone posts that clip on their own social media because you have to get the express written consent of the NFL before you can do anything like that.
Wait, what are you talking about? You talking about Antonio Brown? What are you talking about?
No, it's just bad.
Oh.
Shouldn't be stealing that way, you know?
That's so funny. Yeah, dude, it's horrific. And also, like, have you seen that documentary on Netflix about that? I've never seen it. I've heard of it.
Yeah.
About all the pedophiles in a trailer park. They all live together.
Oh yeah. I actually have seen that.
Is it crazy?
It's wild.
Yeah.
It is crazy because like
They keep them away from society.
they keep them away from society, but it is funny. It's I shouldn't say funny. It's interesting. It is interesting that because they're in a trailer park where everyone knows they're pedophiles, they are just so open about their pedophilia.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if they weren't in there and they were just like in a regular like neighborhood, they would be trying to like keep that kind of like on the down.
Right.
But because they know that everyone knows that they're a pedophile, they're just like open about their pedophilia.
Do they show up on the app? Like, there's an app where you can track.
Oh, I'm
pedophiles.
sure.
Where it's just like, well, this one section is really red.
Whoa, the heat map is off the charts.
This is insane.
You're looking at the map, you feel like you're Predator, you know, like with the Predator vision.
Oh man, yeah, dude.
That would be wild. Because those guys, I mean, the reason they live there is because they're registered as a sex offender.
Yeah.
So they have to be showing up on those apps.
Could you imagine if somebody just asks you where you live and you got to be like,
You're ordering pizza, and the delivery driver is 16 years old. They gotta go in.
Make sure you get a 60, 70-year-old. You got an old pizza delivered.
You gotta send the 16-year-old in with a shotgun.
The pizza place is like just constantly hiring. We've had a lot of people go missing, so so wild.
They're like, "Are you 23 and over?"
I don't think they can get pizza delivered though. That's my number one concern.
Yeah.
If I was a pedophile, it's like, can I have pizza delivered? Dude, Jesus.
They're banned from DoorDash.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be crazy.
Oh my god. I was over my mom's a few days ago, and I was thinking about this on the way here. So you tell me what you think. My mom's dog has she hates thunder. So they have like you know what a thunder shirt is, right? Like a thunder vest.
Oh yeah.
It kind of helps them, you know.
Yeah.
And I just realized, is there anything worse than like farts are funny unless it's your parents. It's like your parents fucking. You don't want to hear about it because it's your, you know what I mean? Like it's only gross if it's your parents.
Yeah.
I've noticed that. It's disgusting. But I was over there and she was just letting them rip. And and I don't like to talk about farts very often,
but this was so problematic that we have to talk about it.
We do. We have to talk about we have to talk about racism, farts, all this stuff.
Yeah.
I love how we went from how the country's falling apart to my mom's got some problems.
I think she needs fiber.
But she would. But no. But she was like, it was loud. And I told her, I was like, I'm about to get Lola's Thunder shirt. That's how loud these are. But like, it's funny if your friends do it.
Yeah.
But once you have like your mom do it, you're like, this is disgusting. This is not funny anymore. You took the humor out
This
of
is
all
not
this.
what you taught me.
Yeah.
That's funny. I just like that would be it would be fun. What would like the human versions of Thunder shirts be?
Oh,
like my parents' farting shirts, you know, like
that's a good. We don't have anything like that.
No.
I think it's because we have. They hope that we have other humans. You know what I mean? Like you hugging your partner would be an example of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I would need a shirt for that. I don't know.
Are there humans? Do you think there's humans that are scared of thunder?
No. Well, I'm thinking like what is the human version of that?
But that kind of made me.
I think probably at first, before we knew what it was, right. I would imagine that like
back in the day, man?
Yeah, like 20,000 BC. You know what I mean? Like people were like, "Oh my god."
Well, people have weird fears. Is there like a phobia for thunder? I wonder.
Oh, I'm sure there is. There's got to be. There's no way that there's no phobia for thunder.
Yeah, I mean, there's phobia for like people are afraid of the dark still.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Adults, yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely a phobia for that. I mean, there's a phobia for like people who like the same sex. So I would imagine there's a phobia for thunder. You know.
Well, one is obviously scarier than the other. Oh my god. Dude.
All right, what else do we have on the old topic list?
I'm just trying to just come prepared. You know what I mean? You're the host. You don't have no notes. What are we doing here?
I'm free balling it. That's what I do. I free ball on the show.
I love that you're like we free ball and we don't edit. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I love this. I've listened to a few episodes. Like I told you, I don't listen to a lot when I'm not working.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of catching up to do. But I just love the freeform conversation.
Yeah.
There's no theme. There doesn't need to be.
No.
It's called Good Morning Where It's about two sad people talking about their lives.
That's the point.
Yeah, that's why you brought me on. Like we need
come be sad with us.
Yeah.
That's why I got the male Sam.
Oh, that's wonderful. Like if you asked Wenzel to do this podcast, he'd be like, I can't be that sad.
It's funny. Wenzel's done Bert Selleck, and Wenzel needs structure on a podcast.
I got a funny story, but go ahead.
He doesn't like the free. Because he thinks he has to be funny all the time. It's like, you don't, it's a podcast.
I'll tell you, I have not talked about this on my podcast, but I've had people reach out and go, how come you haven't had Brad on? And I go, I've asked him twice.
Yeah.
And both times I was like, you can say no, I won't be mad. I'm giving you an out.
Yeah.
And his second time he was like, I just don't want to do podcasts right now. And then he started his own podcast, which I thought was hilarious.
But it's a very structured podcast.
You're right.
You know what I mean?
It's a very Brad-like podcast.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
It is a Wenzel type of podcast.
Yeah. He doesn't like the conversation type podcast.
He doesn't. I've always said he's a little weird. He's kind of an odd guy in that sense. Like he wants control is what it comes to.
Yeah, he's a fascist.
He is.
That's what he is.
Exactly.
I heard he's being named to Trump's Ministry of Comedy.
I liked him until he started wearing hats. I'm like, what is this phase you got going, bro? What is this?
Well, he left the flannel era and he had to do something else, you know.
No, I love Brad. I'm just giving him shit.
When he did Conan the 3 times, and all 3 times he has like the same.
He did Conan?
Yeah.
You're kidding.
All 3 times he wore the same flannel shirt, just a different color.
Yes, he did. That's a good point.
After the second one, I was like, oh, this is your Eddie Murphy Raw flannel.
Yeah, that's funny. That's really funny. You go back and you watch those Conans, he looks like a little child.
I know, he looks like a baby.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
He looks like he should be delivering pizza to a trailer park.
It's so fun. It's so funny because like it's so funny seeing those clips when they come up in my feed because he does look like a baby, and then I think about it and I'm like, this is like 6 years into me doing comedy.
Yes.
That he did this. So how much more of a baby did he look like when I started?
I know. He's still, even though he's got a beard now and longer hair, he's got a baby face. He's got the baby face.
Yeah, for sure. But it's very funny when the classic Wenzel clips come up.
Yeah.
The vintage Wenzel clips.
But it's good to see, like, people get a little recognition, you know?
Yeah.
Where you're like, oh, this can happen even from somebody from here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now he moved back.
Yeah, because he doesn't need to be out there.
No, 1,000%.
Yeah.
This has been the Brad Wenzel podcast. What else do I have on here? I think that's... Are you superstitious? Do you have some superstitions before shows or anything?
Oh yeah, I have to take a shit before I go on stage every time.
I think we might have talked about this. Really? Like,
Yeah. No, no.
Like at home or at...
It doesn't, like, it'll hit me, like, literally as I'm waiting to go on stage.
Is that like a nerve thing?
I guess, because, like, it does not fail. Like, I could have taken the biggest shit on the planet before I got to the venue. If it's, like, 10 minutes and I'm about to go on stage, my stomach is bubbling. And
Have you tried a thunder shirt? Like, before you...
I should.
That's weird.
Yeah.
It just starts bubbling. It has nothing to do with your diet. It's got to be something with the show, I think.
It has to be my nerves.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only thing I can think of. Because, like I said, like, I will, like, literally, before I leave the house, I will empty my bowels. And then I get to the show.
Classic way of saying it.
And then I get to the show. And I'm next. The comic before me is on stage. And I'm like, ooh, I gotta go.
Does, not to get too graphic, does a lot
fail.
come out, or just a little?
No, it's just like little shrapnel that comes out, but it wants to come out though. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and,
it's gotta be a nerve thing.
And I'm gonna be uncomfortable on stage if I don't let it out.
There's gotta be something you can take. Like,
I don't know. Maybe an edible.
Every time?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like without fail. Like, if you're hosting a show and the comic before me is on stage and you're freaking out because you don't know where I am, just check in the bathroom.
Wow. Have you ever been called on stage while you're in the bathroom?
No, I'm pretty good at, like, timing it.
You're like, I got comedic timing and shit timing. Wow, that's wild.
Yeah, no, it's like it doesn't. It's like every time.
Yeah,
like I can't think of a time that it wasn't like that.
Even at, like, open mics.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Damn. It doesn't matter. Open mics, I can like get through it just because it's usually just like a 5-minute spot.
What's in your rider? A bathroom?
It's not in my rider, but like when I see a bathroom in the green room, I'm like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
I don't want to shit.
But then when you see
people.
A person in the green room where the bathroom's at, you're like, shit.
Well, it depends. If there's a TV and the volume is loud enough, I'm like, all right, good. But if there's no sound back there, I'm like, fuck.
Wow. I mean, I still get a little nervous before shows just because, like, I actually think that's a good thing. There's some self-awareness to that. Yeah. You know, but, like, I've never had to, like, I don't think I've ever had to even shit before a show. And if I have, I could hold it until afterwards.
Yeah, no, if it doesn't come out, it's going to affect me on stage.
Has that happened?
Yeah, there have been a few times where I couldn't.
Do you talk about it on stage?
I don't.
Yeah.
I probably should, but I don't.
And are you thinking about it while you're doing jokes? Is it like
it only really
adrenaline rush where you just forget about it?
It really kind of only affects the first like minute or so, and then I just like get into the act, and so I kind of just forget about it. But that first minute is going to be uncomfortable because it's like there, and I'm like, and I gotta you know, mentally like hold it in.
Yeah. Wow. That's insane.
Yeah.
Man, that's like such a new comic thing.
Yeah, it's just always been the case for me. It's just my ritual now, I guess. Maybe that's not a superstition, but like that.
Have you ever been constipated? You're like, I need to get booked.
Yeah, I'm constipated. I'm like, what open mic is tonight?
Oh my God.
I'm like, Mark Ridley's? All right, let's leave a good impression.
Yeah. Wow. That's wild. I didn't know that about you. I'm going to watch that next time we're on the show together. Where'd Alex go?
You're going to go and put like out of order signs on all the stalls before I can get in there?
And then you would just leave.
You walk in, I'm just like sitting in a urinal.
What movie is that? Is that a Kingpin? Is that from Kingpin? Isn't it?
Maybe.
Isn't he shit in a urinal in that movie?
I think so. I might have seen it in movies
Farley
before.
Brothers?
Yeah.
Kingpin's great.
I haven't seen Kingpin in so long.
Oh, it's so good. I think it holds up.
Yeah, for sure. I think it was like one of the movies on Pluto TV for a little while. That's the only place I watch movies is on Pluto TV. Yeah.
So they have to be like from 1999?
Basically, yeah. I watched last weekend. I watched the original Terminator on Pluto.
Nice.
Yeah.
You ever watched an original Tubi movie? Oh. Yikes. mean, they're bad. Because I have Tubi, because Tubi does have some good old stuff. Their originals are terrible.
Yeah, well, I think some of the stuff on Tubi comes from the same place that Pluto gets their stuff from. Because I always see like overlap between the two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't mean to shit on this genre by itself, but like an all black movie original on Tubi, oh my god, terrible. It's just the worst acting I've ever seen in my entire life.
This will be what I clip for this episode. I'll make sure I'll let Sam know. Hey Sam,
and then I'm gonna be like Fox News. Context matters, you guys.
Hey Sam, at 45 minutes, that's where you need to start clipping.
Oh, does she make the clips?
Well, we have like a thing that we feed it
So
into.
funny.
We have a thing that we like feed it into, and it like approximates the clips for us, and then we just do little small adjustments. But Sam usually handles that.
Sam's gonna hate this part. I'm sorry, Sam. Oh my god! If you did just take that by itself, it's like these guys are a little.
I'm only gonna clip that. I'm not gonna clip anything around. Yeah. It's just gonna be you shitting on all black movies. That's it.
No. All black Tubi original movies. I'm not saying all black. Oh, come on. See, context matters, you guys.
Yeah, it's Fox News.
Fox Entertainment.
OAN, all of them, you know.
Oh my god.
But no, yeah, I mean, I think a lot. I mean, I think any original movie like that. So like the equivalent of like a Tubi all black movie would be like a Lifetime movie. That's like the white guy.
Good point.
That's like the
Those
white
are also
person
very
equivalent.
Bad. Yes.
Yeah.
It's the same stuff over and over again.
Yeah.
It's like always a Lifetime movie is always a stalker. There's always a stalker. There's
the Venn diagram of original Lifetime movie and Jennifer Lopez movie is like a perfect circle.
You know dude. You know what it is? The Lifetime movies are stalkers.
Yeah.
And the Tubi all black original movies are you cheated on me. That's what it is. Those are like the two genres. You know what I mean?
Okay. So to be fair, a Jennifer Lopez movie maybe isn't a perfect circle with the Lifetime, but it's maybe half Lifetime, half all, because like it's always like someone that she was dating that like cheated on her that she breaks up with, and then they become a stalker.
Right.
And then she has to spend half of the movie bulking so that she can eventually fight that guy. Yeah. Like that's the formula.
You're talking about the movie Enough with Jennifer
That's
Lopez?
like any Jennifer Lopez
That is
movie.
true. That one was just more mainstream. That's true. It was in a theater. It was a Lifetime movie in a theater is what it was. Because at that time, I think Lopez was so big.
Yeah. But I feel like that's like
she's a bad person. We think she's a bad person.
No, she's
right?
definitely a bad person. I'm like, just look at her past.
I'm also like, if you don't age,
yeah,
that's also like, I know she's got makeup on, but like if you don't age, you look that good at what, 55? How old is Jennifer Lopez?
She's got to be. Real quick? Yeah, go for it. She's got to be in her 50s. Like I'm just gonna put it.
What is your guess?
I'm gonna say 53.
I'm gonna go 55.
Okay. I'm gonna say this.
How old is Jennifer Lopez?
I will say this. Anyone
55.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone whose career is to be famous is bad.
Interesting. But yes,
is bad. If your career is to be famous, you're bad.
Also, like, just pick, like, she's like a triple threat, but like a bad one. You know what I mean? Like, there's a few movies she did. She was great in a few movies.
Yeah.
But for the most part, she's like a subpar actress.
Yeah.
Or actor. That's what we have to say now, right? Like she dancer. And
some of us that are classically trained have always said actor.
Okay. Okay. And dancer too, right? Dancer and musician, right? Well,
yeah.
Musician's a stretch, like a singer, right?
Yeah.
Jenny from the Block, you know?
Yeah.
I remember there was like an American Idol thing, and I only know this because my mom watches American Idol while she farts a lot. But like, I remember like being over there, and they did like this thing when she was one of the judges. She went back to like her New York.
Yeah.
And she was like walking down the block, Jenny from the Block. Yeah. And one guy came out the front door, and because she was looking at the place she used to live.
Yeah.
And he's like, "What's going on?" And she's like, "I used to live here." And he's like, "Who are you?" And you could tell that she was really annoyed by it.
That's so funny. So there's the song Jenny from the Block. It has that like that doo 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 doo, like the flutes. That was like originally sampled by this hip hop group called the Beatnuts, and she kind of stole that from them. And they made a song after that like they literally made a Jennifer Lopez diss track after that song came out. And the beat notes are good. I love the beat notes.
Dude, you just can't, like, first of all, you can't be that hot and no relationships working out for you.
Yeah.
I mean, anytime I see like a really hot woman, unless she's been divorced, which that happens, right? You know, they get divorced.
Yeah, but damaged goods.
Now they're gonna do comedy with their tits out. But like anytime I see like an attractive woman in her 40s or 50s, I'm like, what happened? Because I think guys are more willing to settle than women. Yeah, I really do believe that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because women are less shallow than men.
Well, but also, but when you're saying settle, I think the definition of settle is different for men and women, because I think settling for men is just purely cosmetic, where I think settling for women is more like everything outside of the cosmetic in general.
Right.
I think women are settling for a guy who doesn't have a great job. You know, and I don't mean women are like, oh, support me. I think women are more like, I need someone who's going to at least meet me 50-50.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think sometimes they settle for someone that's only going to meet them 30, 70.
That's always been my pitch to a girl. I go, would you like 50% support? I'll support you 50% of the way.
There we go. I'll clip this. How about I clip this?
I'm like, look, if I'm the only person with a job, we're going to probably live in a trailer park full of...
But if you have a job, we can maybe live in Hazel Park.
But we got pizza. Yeah. But I don't know. It's always. I guess does it work for the same for guys though? You think if there's like a really handsome dude and he's single, do you think the same way?
I mean, honestly, I don't really. I don't think. When it's like really, really hot people, like really good looking people that are single. My mind is always like, oh, you're a monster.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Sure. Like it's not. I'm not questioning like why
women or men or just men.
Both women or men. If you're like a 9 or a 10 and you're single, my mind goes to like, oh, you are an awful human being.
Right.
Because no one wants to. Because despite how hot you are, no one wants to be with you.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, the only time they're happy is when they're having sex. That's the only time.
Exactly. Yeah.
Other than that, it's like, oh, no, I got to
Yeah, like when you're getting down into like the 8 and 7 and lower area, then I'm like, okay, what's going on here? You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude. That's why you just have to ride with like a 6+.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that
be humble?
Oh, I should have said C+, I think. Right. Be humble. Yeah, but you do have to. It's a weird thing. It is a weird line. It's weird to see somebody really hot with someone that's like okay looking.
Yeah, and that's not like that's just where my mind goes. I think there are some really hot people that like that. It is being really hot is a burden because I think they do actually want something
more than just being hot.
Yeah, but because they're hot, that's all they're attracting.
All the people think about when they see them too. It's their first impression.
Yeah, because like there might be a good person that they would actually have a good life with, but that person's too intimidated to approach them because they're so hot.
Yeah.
And then that also that gap also like maybe sometimes they do get into a relationship, but that gap, that hotness gap, is what ruins the relationship because the person that's not as hot is always going to feel like they're not good enough. You know.
But the person that's hot is also insecure about something.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean?
For sure. I think if you are a hot person that's willing to go 2, maybe even 3 levels down, it's probably on your mind constantly that like this person, I have to make sure they feel appreciated.
Absolutely.
And then maybe they just don't feel they can ever live up to the amount of appreciation that they have to give.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then that kind of like fucks with the relationship.
I remember being out to eat. I went out to eat with a female comic friend just like a week or 2 ago. We were like talking about deep stuff, and I was like, what's something you're insecure about? And I meant physically because I think we were kind of talking about that. On my side.
Yeah.
And then I think baldness is what we were talking about actually. And then I go, what about you? You have to be insecure about something. And she goes, Carl. I'm like, whoa, I just told you mine. And like the whole bald, like I don't think, it's not really that, like I don't even know if I was talking about insecure about being bald. I think we're just talking about being bald. And yeah. I mean, it was an insecurity of mine the first time it happened.
Yeah,
the first
yeah.
couple of years, but now I'm trying to do a bit about that. Like I want to work on a bit about how like people that are bald that wear hats all the time get a bad rep, because that's like the first thing they go to,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Is like you wear it because it's like, you don't know my history with hats, dude.
Yeah. I'm actually wearing my beanie right now because I didn't shave my head and I have too much hair.
Yeah, that's true.
You
That's
know,
true.
I needed to have less hair
You
today.
look good bald though. Like there's not a lot of good. Like you look fine bald.
Yeah, well, that's just because like my hair is so thin now that it looks more ridiculous to have hair than to not.
Yeah, for real.
Like I'm not like I like for real though. I'm not like bald. Like
Yeah.
I can still grow hair and have hair, but it's very the hairline is very noticeable how far back it is from where it was when I was like in my 20s. Like I had a lion's mane in my 20s. Like it was crazy.
Yeah.
Like I remember I would go to Bo-Ricks to get my hair cut. And the
I was a fantastic Sam's guy.
and the usually lady cutting my hair at Bo-Ricks would be like, your hair is so thick,
Yeah,
you know, but
yeah.
like somewhere from 20 to 30 it all came out.
I remember flipping through the book in my 20s and teens, where they'd be like, because you could flip through hairstyles.
yeah.
You'd be like, I want that one.
Yeah.
Give me that
And it would
one.
never look anywhere
It
near
would
that.
never. But you had like now, you can't pick up the book now. Is there books? Are there even books now?
I think there are still books, but like nobody uses it.
Yeah.
The one that I always wanted was like the 50s guy haircut,
Yeah.
where it was like kind of like slicked back, but like up, but like it also came to like a point, you know, like with the little curl.
Yeah.
I always wanted that one, and then I would be like, I want that one, and they would cut my hair, and it would just be like slicked back.
I want to take a photo of me crying and just go this way. I'll take this in my hair. What this guy's going.
Yeah, I always wanted like the greaser, like the like kind of like it's like slicked back, but it's like kind of like curled up. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like
yeah.
like kind of like up, like forward and up, and then you have the little like S curl coming in. Like I always wanted that one. You know, like the guy that would be wearing just like the white T-shirt with the Marlboro pack.
Yes,
like
yes,
that's the haircut
like the
I always
greaser
want.
kind of?
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. Like I always wanted that haircut, and they could never do it for me.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm like, I know I can have this because my hair is like wild. You
Right,
know, like
right.
it was so thick back then.
But it was your fault. You were going to Bo-Ricks.
Listen, I wasn't out yet at the time, and like, you know,
Everyone at Bo-Ricks knew though.
I'm sure they did. I'm sure they knew. I didn't know, and I didn't know any gay guys at the time. So like, that's Bo-Ricks was it, you know. And this was like, and this was actually young adult, like the end of my teens. Like I was an adult, but I was still in my teens because
Yeah.
my mom used to cut my hair when I was a kid. But then like when I moved out and stuff, I had to like go somewhere
Yeah.
because like my mom.
Bo-Ricks is just your mom cutting your hair as a kid. It's the same thing. It's not much different. They both don't work there.
Well, listen, my mom went to beauty school. All right, she knew what she was doing.
Yeah. When did you come out, by the way? Have we talked about this? When did you?
I came out when I was 20. So 20 is when like I came out like to myself.
Okay.
Where I was like, okay, I think I'm into dudes.
Right.
That was 20. When I started actually coming out to people, I think was 21.
Okay.
Like I think that was the first time like I told other people that I was gay, that I knew.
Yeah. And also like in the early 2000s too.
Like,
there was-
well, I mean, I don't know. Maybe even like I wasn't even telling the guys that I was hooking up with that I was gay. Maybe.
Oh.
I'm kidding.
just want to try something different.
Yeah. No, I'm straight. I just don't. Listen, I just like cock. I don't kiss.
I'm not some beta.
I'm not gay. Kiss? Gross. Give me that cock.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
But yeah, no, 21.
Coincidentally, the first guy you hooked up with was named Bo Rick. So it's
Not bald. Business in the front, party in the back, though. Yeah. Oakley's on the face.
I just because we're around the same age, so I just kind of find it like fascinating.
Yeah.
I feel like when I was in high school, or even like a little after high school, when I went to community college. That's right, guys. For a whole year, only because I could wear pajamas. That's the only reason I went, because I didn't really have to put much effort in. I felt like there weren't a lot of people coming out then either.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that was kind of like the tipping point era, because like that was kind of like pre George W. Bush still, I think, or maybe like in the middle of George W. Bush. So like homophobia was like at a premium at that point. But then like soon as he let like it quickly.
So glad it's gotten better.
Well, it did for it quickly shifted under Obama.
Fucking back up.
Now it's coming back, but it's coming back. But like the back then there were even very few allies that would like very strongly defend you.
Yeah.
Where now I feel like there are more people who are not gay who would be like, hey, fuck you for thinking that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It used to be like the trans thing where they're like, it's a sickness.
Yeah.
It's like, all right.
Yeah. But yeah, like during the Obama administration, I think it sort of started swinging back in the opposite direction where it like, obviously people were like way more like okay with it.
Yeah.
I feel like kids like in high school started coming out. And now they're like trying to put the toothpaste back in the tube. It kind of feels like, you know what I mean? But whatever, we're here, we're queer, and go fuck yourself.
I mean, I think that's a great end of the pod. Okay. We're here, we're queer, now go fuck yourself.
Yeah, no. What like I think my favorite coming out moment was I was hanging out with my friend Dave. And we we just like went to the movies or whatever. We're just like hanging out, and like I came out to him that night, and he like paused for a second, and first of all he was like very accepting, whatever, you know. He was like you know, I don't care, man. We're boys, whatever.
Right.
And then like he paused for a second, and he was like, so wait, you mean to tell me that you've been gay all this time? And you ain't never tried to get up on this?
That's hilarious. Way to break the tension that you might feel, right? That's so funny. What did you say?
I just laughed.
He was like offended. Wait a minute. That's great.
But yeah, that was my favorite, I think, coming out.
I'll tell you something.
Moment.
We can narrow it down. There's not how many male gay comics are on the scene. There's probably maybe 5 or 6, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, there was more now. When I came out, I think I was the only one.
So I won't say who, but that's why you're mad. He wanted to be the only one. That's why you're grumpy. I did a show fairly recently with a gay comic, and I was dressed nice, had like a coat on that I don't wear a lot. You know?
Yeah.
And he said to me, he goes, Carl. Like he was just like like that, and I was like, "Thank you." Like that's how, you know what I mean. I was like, "Thank you, man." You know what I mean.
I think I know who that was. Sure. I think I'm not gonna say their name because you don't want to say their name.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna like put them out there. But if it's the person that I think it is,
I'll tell you off, Mike.
Okay, if it's the person that I think it is, I've gone through a bunch of like hair, beard, mustache combos in 10 years. Yeah. And so it was at Sam's recording. I was standing in the back. I was like the next comic going up. I already took my shit.
I think it's the person waiting. Yeah,
I already took my shit. I was waiting to go up on stage.
Yeah.
And they came up to me and tapped me on the shoulder like, hey, this is your best hair beard combo.
I love it.
They're like, it's hot.
Talking about the same person, yeah. Oh, that's so funny. That's great. I felt at least as much, maybe more, that a gay man told me that I looked good as opposed to like a woman. You know what I mean? Like I was like, thank you, dude. Appreciate the shit. That's awesome.
All right. Do you have anything else you want to cover?
No. Just check out my podcast.
All right, yeah. Check out maybe some other time
about the Michigan comedy scene.
Do you have any shows you want to plug? This is going to come out Wednesday, by the way. So.
No, I mean, I'll be at the Comedy Castle with Jackie Cation. I think it's the third week of February. I'm not gonna look. Third week of February, I think, or at the end of February at that Comedy Castle.
All right, cool. Yeah, go check out Carl. I will be in the Upper Peninsula the Thursday after this episode comes out.
Oh yeah.
Actually, the Friday after this episode comes out. And then that Saturday I will be in, what is that, Plymouth, Bearded Lamb?
Yes, it is Plymouth.
Yeah. So I'll be in Plymouth, Michigan at the Bearded Lamb.
Justin Secura's room?
Yeah.
Who else is on that show?
Jason Jamerson's headlining it. I'm
That's
featuring.
a good show.
Yeah. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So that's where you can check me out. Go check Carl out. Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, thank you.
Please subscribe if you watched this and you liked it. Go follow us, like us everywhere. Go follow and maybe next maybe some other time. I keep wanting to say maybe next time.
No,
That's why I've paused every time before, because I keep wanting to say maybe next time, but it's maybe some
You're
other time.
You're not the only person. I understand. It's the dumbest name for a podcast. It really is.
So stupid. But yeah. All right. Thank you so much, and we will see you next time.
See you.